he's got goals.
13. So
Against the clock, it really didn't matter. Mickey, your defender Kentucky.
No scriptwriter could have ever written a better story.
Saut Hermès, where equestrian sport meets Parisian elegance. In a truly unique setting, experience show jumping at its finest. Style, precision, and emotion. Life on clipmyhorse.tv.
Oh, well, hello there and a very warm welcome to you wherever you may be watching from around the world to this instalment of the Clip My Horse TV In and Out studio. We are so pleased to be here with you this evening as we bring you the action from a very elegant show, perhaps the most elegant in the world. It is, of course, Saut Hermès in the Grand Palais in Central Palace. Boy, what a show we have in store for you. A mixture of elegance, of course, as well as speed, because that's what the class will be bringing us tonight. I'm in the studio here. I am not on my own in bringing you all of the analysis and the insight, of course. I'm joined by Equestrian's very own Charlotte Smith. Charlotte, thank you so much for being here.
I'm delighted to be here again. It always feels like coming home a little bit.
It does, and you know what it's time for? It's time for the Charlotte Smith sizzle reel.
This week on In Out, we're joined by Charlotte Smith. Charlotte isn't just an analyst, she's a professional rider herself. That insider experience in the saddle gives her a unique perspective on the numbers, breaking down the data with a rider's instinct. From performance trends to those crucial split-second decisions on course, Charlotte connects analytics with what it really feels like out there in the arena. Get ready for sharper insights and smarter takes, only here on Clip My Horse TV, In Out.
Happy with that, are you?
Delighted. Every time I see it, I think, wow, what a work of art.
Right, just throws a little grenade into the old Equestrian's office as well. I know that for sure. We are, of course, in Paris this evening. Charlotte joining me to analyse this class that is coming up. Saut Hermès, you've probably heard it spoken about. What an incredible show this is. Under the Grand Palais in Central Paris, we have the world's best show jumpers vying for some incredible prizes. From what I understand, no free Birkins are actually issued at this show. So you can, you know, just hold on to your knitting. Let's get into it then and have a look at this show. What we need to know for fast facts about Saut Hermès. We can tell you, of course, the Grand Palais, that is where it's held. That's that big old glass baby right in the middle of Paris there, opened in 1900, part of the World's Fair. 2026 marks Saut Hermès, the actual equestrian show, the 16th year for this show, but equestrian events taking place there under the Grand Palais for many years. It features an under-25 competition as well as that all-important CSI five-star competition, the top level of show jumping. And our course designer for this show this week is Santiago Varela Ulastres. So we are so pleased to have Santiago and his team, Gregory Bodo, who was, of course, a course designer there at Paris in the Olympics, as well as an incredible team, course designers throughout the week at Saut Hermès. What a show. And, of course, who else would you send to a show like this other than In and Out's most elegant arena-side reporter, Hannah Robson? Hannah, give us a feeling for how things are there. If we could tear you away from the shopping, from the Champs-Élysées for 1 minute and focus on equestrian sport.
Oh, Amy, I love that intro. Thank you very much for that. Quite generous, I must say. But what an amazing show this is. It really is right in the heart of Paris. We are right on the Champs-Élysées, actually, at one end. So you've got all sorts of big sites all the way around this venue. Of course, this is really one as well, and it's had so many exciting events happening in here. I believe the Chanel fashion show has been held in this very building. They have concerts in here as well. So it's really an iconic venue. And really the atmosphere is incredible. It's really getting packed out once again. So they had a separate session earlier on today for the daytime classes. Of course, the feature of that was the Saut Hermès. So that was where the top 10 male and female riders respectively qualified from yesterday. They went through to a big class this afternoon and the stands were packed out. They had some entertainment in here this afternoon as well. They then closed everything off and they've welcomed the spectators back in for the evening session. And we could see them outside absolutely lining up for miles to be able to get back in here and to see these world's best horses and riders in action. The highest ranked in our field on your world rankings, of course, is Gilles Thomas for this evening's competition, but there really is an incredible list. It's just like a who's who once again, with absolutely so lucky to be ringside at some of these competitions, and this is set to be an amazing one. I mean, you can probably see behind me, this is the warm-up ring. You can't quite see that incredible ceiling, but just the colours everywhere here, the attention to detail is amazing, and it just feels like such a unique event, and set to be a really exciting class today with the accumulator.
Yeah, that's right. Thanks, Han. Absolutely wonderful down there. She really fits in perfectly, I feel. Is the aesthetic for this particular show. And as she said, we will bring you all the sporting action. Once you get into that main arena and you see what it looks like under that glass and steel, it is absolutely phenomenal. Do not look away. Is my pronunciation going to get the better of me in this particular episode? We hope not. We've got Negus beside us. She's going to do all of the most amazing pronunciation in French and all of the other languages as well in Charlotte. Charlotte, we want to talk a bit about what else is going on in equestrian sport, because we know it's a really big week. We've got phenomenal riders there in Paris, but we also have a really big list of the who's who have gone to Florida. They are in Ocala this week at the World Equestrian Centre. It's the next leg of the Longines League of Nations that's happening there. Super exciting competition so far. And I tell you, I have a special place in my heart for WEC. I've been there a couple of times and really, really enjoyed it. Incredible sport, which we will talk about. But first of all, let's take a little look at what's all going on with the Longines League of Nations.
The Longines League of Nations is heating up. 10 nations, 4 qualifiers, 1 title. Welcome to Ocala.
Oh, Fab, it is a really special venue and a great venue to host this particular series, the Longines League of Nations. We've had some really good victories so far. Today in the winning round competition, Renee Dittmer and Cody took the win. Another great class in prep for that big weekend they're going to have.
Absolutely. I think this is a very special weekend in the world of five-star show jumping, because we have these 2 absolutely incredible venues at the same time. We're going to be talking about Paris, but Ocala is one of the most impressive venues as well. It's so big, it's so huge, whereas, you know, Paris is more. Both are so special.
Yeah, exactly. We can have a little look at what we'll be bringing you throughout the course of the weekend there. We'll just pop it up on the screen now for you. That is the schedule there for the Longines League of Nations here on FEI TV, Clip My Horse TV. As you can see, March 21st, wherever you are in the world, it is on March 21st. And that will be EDT, it's 5:15, and of course 10:15 in Europe. So make sure you are tuned in to be watching all of the action from Ocala. But we talked about Renee Dittmer and Cody. We're going to take a look at their victory in the winning round 150 class today.
So Renee Dittmer and Cody for Germany, just the one German rider here in our winning round. But he knows how to win.
So he's on 8 on the first roll back. And the 7 has come up really easy there. And he's on a 9 there, so we'll see what he does here. I think we'll see a 10 there from somebody as well.
Yeah, maybe if he was on Corsica, he'd been that 1 stride less everywhere, but he should be a competitive double clear here in terms of the times we already have. All rattles the last, but he's 37.53. He's out in front by just 1.3 seconds then, Renee and Cody. So they're really moving the needle. As you said, Marie Demont looked quite conservative, even though she was faster than Lily Keenan. Renee Dittmer then moves it on yet more.
There you go, Renee Dittmer eventually taking the victory there in that winning round 150 class. But we were just chatting about this, Charlotte. It's a German theme going on in that particular area of the world right now with this equestrian sport.
Absolutely. It was already a very successful Thursday.
knew I would.
A very successful five-star Grand Prix on the Thursday there in Ocala, with fellow countryman Andre Thieme taking the win in the Grand Prix on pole S. And then, of course, in tonight's LLN, when the nations go head-to-head, we've cracked the numbers a little bit, and it looks like the Germans are coming in as narrow favourites to pip the Irish and the home team, the USA. So eyes on that tonight. It's going to be really, really exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And that will all be here wherever you are in the world on FEI TV and Clip My Horse TV. But we're going to turn our attention now back to our feature class for this evening. Now, Hannah went soft on the T. And she said Saut Hermès, and I said Saut Hermès. So I don't know. We need a French adjudicator, or are you going to give it to me now, Charlotte? What is it?
Saut Hermès.
Saut Hermès. Oh, beautiful. Okay, see, I still can't get it right. Okay, so we want to talk a little bit more about this beautiful venue. We've gone on and on about it, but Chris and Hannah have been taking a look at it throughout the course of the week. It's such a beautiful venue. And when we say in the middle of Paris, we aren't lying. Yes, that is, of course, the Seine right there, and there it is right in central Paris. And the pictures you are going to see in just a moment are going to show you just how close these horses are to the middle of Paris and how close the middle of Paris is to the show jumping action. Let's take a look.
Welcome to Paris, to the Grand Palais and Le Saut Hermès. This incredible venue has hosted some amazing exhibitions, fashion shows, you name it, it's taken place in the Grand Palais. And this week we are bringing five-star show jumping to one of the most beautiful cities in the world. Well, we are right on the corner of the Champs-Élysées in the middle of Paris. Just up the road from us, of course, the Arc de Triomphe, and just further down that way is the Place de la Concorde. And this is where the riders are warming up for this weekend's competitions. What an incredible setting to prepare these five-star athletes. From the beautiful streets of Paris, then the riders make their way inside the Grand Palais. This is only the second year that the show has been able to be held here again following the renovation, and what a stunning setting it is, even for the warm-up ring just behind me. This week is the main arena, and the stage is set underneath this, and of course surrounded as well by the Hermès artwork. It changes every year and really gives a different flavour to the event. Some of the best horse and rider combinations in the world have targeted this unique competition, and those big classes will be taking place right here all weekend.
We told you it was magical, and magical it certainly is. And there's not a little bit of FOMO going on at all in the studio. We don't mind at all, do we, Charlotte, that we're in the studio and that everybody else is having a Paris party?
No, Bielefeld is basically Paris.
Yeah, exactly. The studio, the same. It's the same, just with less Birkin. Oh, and we've seen some great show jumping so far. Today was a really great class, the afternoon class that Hannah talked about a little bit earlier. It's an interesting format, as she pointed out, and interestingly enough, the way it came down to the wire with our first and second position winners, it was male and female in 1 and 2. Top 10 male-female riders go into that class to come to play. Peter de Vos taking the victory, just snatching it away from Jess Burke, who, I've got to talk about Jess Burke. I'm a big fan anyway of Jessica Burke, but the patch that's coming for her is so wonderful and really, really, I feel, rewarding.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we sat here and watched this class together a little bit, and we were both so delighted. saw her go into the lead, we thought maybe that is beatable, but it's just so great for her to go around like that. And it was a hard class to be double clear in, and she did it, and she did it well.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go to the tape. They did a lovely thing for us. If they've put the 2 rounds side by side, that's Peter de Vos, who ultimately took victory there, and also Jess Burke side by side. Let's have a look at the last 2 rounds.
Mind you, is the Grand Prix. There's not really going to be, this is the side by side, which is always good to watch. It's just on this occasion, there's quite a gap by the time you get to the end. But Peter knew he had to push. Jess stabilised the class in the respect that she knew everyone else had been pushing. She knew that if she went clear, she was guaranteed a top 3 finish. So she played sensible, which was the right move from her. Peter knew he had to come in and not only beat Jess, but he also knew Vitiki was still to come. So he asked everything from Jorina J, and she yet again delivered the most brilliant of rounds. It really was a cracking. I mean, he did slow down a little bit. I'm pretty sure he sat back here and waited for a second or two because he probably had seen what happened to Willem Grever over the final fence. It was easy at the end. Let's look forward to later. We'll be back.
See, lovely rounds from both and just narrowly grabbing it there, Peter de Vos. So great show jumping, he said. It was a packed crowd in there for the daytime sessions, another packed crowd coming in for the evening sessions. This show, it's important to know, is a complete sellout. You can't get a ticket for love nor money. So wonderful stuff, really exciting for the sport too, that so many fans are heading along to see it. Maybe not even fans, maybe just people finishing their shopping have managed to nab one. So we are going to talk about today's class, and what I'm not going to do is pronounce the name of it, because I've had a terrible, don't tell my university lecturers that it's been so horrible. Charlotte Smet, please tell me what the name of tonight's class is.
We are going to be watching the Prix du 24 Faubourg.
Thank you very much. I'm not even going to attempt to tone that down into an Australian accent for you. But it is a really exciting class. We're really looking forward to it. But a unique format, and we really want to dig into that because we want to explain that to you as we head down toward looking at the sport. Makes it easier, doesn't it, if you know what you're looking at? So 4 facts then about this CSI 5-star Prix du 24 Faubourg. How do you like that?
That'll work.
Yeah, go on. Put a little bit of English on it. It is an accumulator, this class. We're going to talk much more about what an accumulator is, but it's important to know that it's 1 round against the clock, and points are accrued for each obstacle that you do. Very last fence as a joker, and so we'll talk more about that. And a joker it is. It's no joke, this joker, let's tell you. The maximum height of the class is 1.50 metre, but that joker fence can be bigger than that. It's often more challenging than a regular 150 obstacle, so there'll be something unique about that indeed. So again, Charlotte, you've been out jumping recently in recent weeks. The last however many weeks, haven't you? So they are around, they are an international competition. Let's dig a little bit deeper then and take it the slide you've prepared here to tell us a little bit more about this format. How does it work? Because the goal here is 65 points.
Exactly. You've said that points are accrued for every obstacle that the combinations jump. The goal is to get to 65 points. How do you get to 65 points? Well, you get 1 point for clearing number 1. You get 2 points for clearing number 2. You get 3 points for clearing number 3, and so on and so on. What you don't get is points if you knock a fence. So if you knock number 4, you don't get those 4 points that number 4 carries. So when you add them up, once you get to number 9, all you have left to jump is number 10. And you can grab those 10 points from number 10, or you can go and jump the joker. So you have the option, am I going to jump number 10? Am I going to jump the joker? The joker is 20 points. So to get to 65, you need those 20 points that the joker gets you.
Yeah.
The risk there is it's a little bit of a more difficult fence. It's a little bit of a risk. Like you said, it can be a bit higher, a bit more difficult, a bit more spooky. But if you knock it, you lose 20 points.
Yeah.
And then you go down from not 65 points, not 45 points, but 25 points. And that's not where you want to be. You want to get those 20 points that the joker gives you. So you need to jump it, you need to take the option to go at it, and then you have to leave it standing as well.
Yes, a gamble indeed. So it makes it for a really exciting class to watch. Really good fun to jump as well. But yeah, just a bit of a gamble. You've got to know your stuff. You've got to be pretty sure that all of these riders, of course, will get an opportunity to go and walk the course before they have to jump it. So they will see that joker and they'll be able to make a decision about whether they're going to jump it or whether they're going to stay safe. So it will be interesting to see what happens tonight, but very important to collect those 65 points. Hannah has been out and about and she has been busy this week, and there's a man who we are so delighted to see back out and about, and she had a chance to catch up with him in focus. It's Marcus Enning.
I'm Marcus Enning and I'm happy to be here on the Saut Hermès. Yeah, it's new for me. In my whole career I was never injured, but now I had a problem with my knee for nearly 3 months. I'm happy to be back and then to this great facilities. It's also quite exciting for myself. Okay, I always could ride a bit, but I have a very good group of people at home. And my brother and his wife, they showed them in between, so the horses were fit. It was only a question how long it takes with myself. I have here Flower Girl and Prix. Both are quite experienced horses. Prix was here placed the last 2 years in the Grand Prix. But it's my first show back, and I hope we can have a placement on Sunday. I think I have enough experience, but it's always a goal and it's always something new, so it's still quite exciting.
Oh, just so lovely to see Marcus Enning out and about. First show back. We're so excited to have him there. And as I love the way he says, oh, I could ride a little bit. I'm willing to bet the doctor didn't say he could ride a little bit at home. I absolutely don't think that was approved, but they kept things ticking along for him, and there he is back out there this weekend, Charlotte.
I'm so excited to see him back again. He's such a legend of the sport and he's incredible to watch.
Yeah, and it's Flower Girl he has bringing forward tonight. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that combo a little later. But I can see that the wonderful Hannah is down by the arena and with one of our other absolute favourites as well. It's Bosty.
Yes, absolutely thrilled to be joined down here by Roger Yves Bost, who of course has won this very class twice before. Now, Roger, talk to me about what it takes to win this accumulator.
Hello. But to win this class is always special because it's in the night.
Yeah.
It's only single fences and we can go fast. Public loves that. I win a lot of class like that. It's spectacular.
Well, we love seeing you ride because you're so exciting and so fast. So,
thank you.
How fast are you planning to go tonight?
I try to do my best because my horse jump now bigger class. I hope he can win one more time. There's so many good riders now. I don't know. I try my best.
And you haven't quite had a chance to look at the course yet, but I see there are some places you can take an inside turn that I'm sure will be in your plan.
Depends the turn, because my horse turns very good to the right. Yeah. Left, little more difficult.
Okay.
And the ring is very small. Huh? I don't know.
And how about the crowd here? Because all week so far we have heard them go wild for the French riders. How does that feel?
It's very good because they know us very good and they push the sport. But I think they do the same with a good rider. And the French little more because it's very exciting.
When did you first compete at this show?
I do all the edition.
Every single one?
Yeah.
Wow. And how have you seen it change over time?
Every year they change the color of Hermès.
Yes.
There's always a special year.
Well, thank you so much. We wish you the best of luck. We
Thank
better
you
let
very
you get
much.
on to your course walk, of course.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much. We'll let Roger get on his way. Thank you so much. We'll let you go. So there you have it then, the man who has won this competition twice. He says it might be difficult to do it for a third time, but I think he could be one to put your money on.
Absolutely wonderful. That's my favourite interview of 2026 so far. So Frenchy, so chic. Absolutely love that. But he was absolutely great. And every one of these shows in the Grand Palais, he has jumped. So that's 16 occasions in which Bosti has been present there. And, you know, marvellous stuff. And I tell you what, he even talked about with the horses, the horse turns really well to the right, not so well to the left. They are one-sided sometimes, horses. They have a preferred side. So that's something interesting we can look out for when we're watching him go. And also just talking about where he'll make those turns and maybe grab some of that time.
Yeah, absolutely. It's so fun to hear him chat so openly with Hannah and so candidly. And he's just one of the legends again of the French sport, and I know the crowd absolutely love him and love when he goes fast, and I think he really feeds off of that as well.
Yeah, it's going to be super, super exciting. And the wonderful thing about Bosti too is anytime you ask another rider about him, they say their favourite thing about him is how his horses just love him. They love to go for him, they love to work for him, and wonderful. I mean, you know, he's great. What a great energy. Excited to see him tonight. Super stuff. Charlotte, it's time to get down into the nitty-gritty of this and talk analysis as we get down to the, as I like to say, the pointy end of things and get down to the sport. This is our class tonight, then, the one I didn't pronounce. How dare I try and pronounce this class's name in English. It is a CSI 5-star 1 metre 50. It's an accumulator, as we spoke about a little bit earlier. It is against the clock with no jump off, progressive difficulties with a joker, as we spoke about. And of course, our in the loop as things are happening live throughout the sport as well. So we need to get straight into things here because we spoke to Bosti, previous winner. Let's talk then about previous winners.
Well, it starts with Bosti because he won last year on Giorgio de la Basia, and that is the horse that he's competing again tonight. So that's very this class the year previous in 2024. And I think when you look at this list of previous winners, the one thing that stands out is there's a lot of French flags. It makes sense because I think we all know around the world how fast the French can go. And I think especially in front of a home crowd where people are cheering them on, there's so many fans and they're very close because the arena is so small, they're very close to the action. They really feed off of that and they go even faster, and it's proven here with 5 of those last 7 winners being French. So I think the French riders are the ones to beat tonight, and probably mostly even the man we just heard from, Roger-Yves Bost, because he's back on a previous winner. He's won it the year before, and it sounds to me like he's pretty motivated to do it again.
Yeah, in his quietly motivated way, absolutely. You know, it's a veritable who's who when you look down that list. It's interesting then. So if we know that, we know Bosti comes forward. We've got an incredible list there, 32 combinations. How do we then, this is a little bit different because we need to predict who is going to do it, who's going to get that 65 points.
Yes, so it's a little bit different than the clear rates or the clear chances. We're looking at who can get those 65 points. So you potentially may have riders that go clear but don't opt to jump the joker, and then they have 55 points. So we're looking at who gets these 65 points. Over the years, this class has had 35% of riders have reached that 65 points. So that is about 1 in 3. This year, with those 32 coming forward, we're expecting 11 to get there. So, you know, just over a third of the riders. It was a little bit higher last year, 15 went clear, and that's when you see the win margin from when Roger-Yves Bost won last year was just 0.08 seconds. So when more go clear, obviously those margins on the time get smaller and smaller because there's more and they're putting more and more pressure on each other, and they're really, you know, trying to get those last hundredths of seconds out of each other. So hopefully it'll be around the 11 mark for horses going clear.
Yeah, 11 of those. So You know, when we talk about 11 going through, let's dig into who we think the names are. We've said the list has a veritable who's who. We know there's a lot of French flags on there. Let's look at the clear chances then. But when we say the clear chances, of course, we go back to Charlotte's point saying this is the likelihood of reaching the full 65. So you have to jump that joker fence at the end, that challenging fence at the end to grab the full 65. That list there, Charlotte, the thing that stands out is it's very, very tight at the top. The standout favourite, well, you could swing either way. The margins are very small.
Yes, absolutely. We've got some very strong riders here on very experienced horses at this level. Gregory Watley comes in on a 50-50 clear chance, kind of the combination that's most likely to reach that 65 points. This is a very interesting combination, actually. It's a homebred for Gregory, bred by his father. He has produced this horse from 5, 6, 7, all the way through the ranks. Now she's 14 years old. They know each other through and through. This is a horse that was the Belgian World Champion for 7-year-olds in 2019. So ages with Gregory. So they know each other through and through, and they are they know this level so well, and they were actually very, very close to a win yesterday in a 150 class, a speed class, not an accumulator, but a similar format. But they had one fence down. They would have won without that fence down. So we know how fast they can go. They've won several classes at this level before. So they are definitely ones to watch. If they're clear, they will be fast. They will not be taking any chances.
No.
So they are very, very exciting to watch.
Yeah, very exciting to watch. And something that excited us here in the In-Out studio was there's been a lot on social media throughout the week. We've seen Henrik von Eckermann, who's on that list there, just at the 49%. So as we said, the very, very narrow margins. Henrik, back last week at the Dutch Masters, we saw him. He's out again this week. We've seen on social media lots of lovely videos of him and King Edward doing some schooling at home, bringing the horses on. As we said, he's stacking that string of horses again, isn't he? Building.
Yeah, absolutely. And the horse that he's coming in with today is Kalitsi, who he has had for a little bit longer, but is really a horse that has helped kind of supported those other superstars like King Edward or an Ileana as they jump the big classes. She's always there maybe to win some diesel money back. You know, she's very, very fast also. They've been very successful over in the Middle East this winter in Doha and in Sharjah. Multiple podium finishes at this level at 150, also some 155s. When they stay clear, if they can get to those 65 points, they can be so quick. Of course, you know, Henrik von Eckermann is still the reigning world champion for a couple months to go. He's a former world #1. I think he also likes winning in front of this crowd, in front of these French, and showing them what he can do.
Yeah, absolutely. He wouldn't shy away from it, that is for sure. And important to note that he has those accolades under his belt and that it is a rebuilding time.
Yeah.
And a time with those big horses having stepped back a bit for the other horses to shine in the spotlight, and we're better to do it than in the Grand Palais. Daniel Deusser, Big DD, comes on forward here. He's there too, and definitely a name of note with Bingo.
Yes, actually, Bingo and Daniel have jumped this class previously and done very well in this class previously, both in 2022 and in 2024, reaching those 65 points. They were 5th in 2024 and 9th in 2022. So they know this arena. I know Bingo is a very fast horse. They've also won at the 160 level, and Daniel is such an accurate, such a good rider, and also so fast. And so far we've discussed international riders. We haven't even got to the French yet.
Yeah, exactly. If I can then deviate and talk about Simon Delestre, because this is interesting. There's an interesting story here with Olga.
Yes, Olga van der Kruithoeven was a very successful horse in 2024. She was winning a lot of classes like these, 150, but also 155, and she was really breaking through at the 160 level also. But then she had almost over a year off from the level. She's just coming back in recent weeks now. This is her second week jumping back at the 150 level, so I don't know how far Simon will push her, but she did jump some 150s at the Dutch Masters last week, so maybe she's ready in front of this home crowd. You know, and Simon, again, another such a fast rider. If she feels she's ready, then they could really go for it.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, staying with the French here, it's time to talk about someone who we want to bring up, who is coincidentally our rider in focus, was there on the Clear Chances as well, Saut Georges. Now, this horse is a horse that's come very, very recently from Christian Cook, but someone we will definitely have an eye on because this is an incredible partnership.
Yeah, absolutely. They've only been together for and they've had built such a strong partnership in such short time. They've already won a 3-star World Cup together out in Doha, and it's just very exciting for Lara, who's had a very successful young rider career, to have a horse like this. You know, she's very new to the 5-star level, but she's doing it very, very well with her horse Memphis that has been really building for her, and then to have a horse like Saut Georges to kind of, you know, unburden some of her other horses. You know, it really helps for a rider to have multiple horses that can jump the highest level and to, you know, be able to compete almost a lot of the weeks of the year together at the highest level. So it's great for her.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, we're really excited to see these two. And Hannah actually had the opportunity to catch up with Lara this week.
Hi, I'm Lara Triba and we're here at the Saut Hermès. So I brought Catania, which is a 11-year-old My Lord mare. I have her for a little over than a year now. We've built a very good partnership together, jumped a few 5-star Grand Prix. So she's my big class horse. And then I brought Saut Georges. I have him since last December, so it's a bit of a newer partnership. But we already did some great things in Doha, and I took him as a second horse a bit for the speed classes, and I'm very excited to have those two here. I tried to pick two horses that I knew were not going to be so impressed by the ring, because with the lights, with the fences, like with the shadows, it can be quite impressive for the horses. Also, we have a lot of people around, so it can get noisy, but no, they behaved very well, so I'm happy. Yeah, of course, it makes it extra special. Saut Hermès at the Grand Palais has been on my bucket list forever, so I'm delighted to be here. It's such a special atmosphere, and the crowd is amazing with the French riders, so no, it's a very, very good feeling. I would love to qualify for the Saut Hermès tomorrow, which is the 10 best female riders versus the 10 best male riders, and then qualify for the Grand Prix. Hopefully a few placings along the way. Yeah, this was a bit of a special show. If I could manage to get in and jump, it was just a bonus, because now we go back indoor, so it's a bit of a mix. Like, we were outdoor in Doha, now we go back indoor, but now I'm just going to focus on the outdoor season again after this one, and Fontainebleau late April, and then do some globals also.
Oh, fabulous stuff there with Lara. Really lovely to hear from her, and just so excited. And she was talking about that French crowd again. We know it's a really big part of the atmosphere at this particular show. I had the privilege of being in Paris for the Olympics a couple of years ago now, and wow, so super exciting stuff coming our way with the sport here tonight. Hannah is down by the warm-up arena, and she's going to give us a little bit of insight as to how things are going and cover any breaking news for us, Hannah.
Yes, thanks so much, Amy. Great to be back down here, of course, at the warm-up ring. Things are starting to hot up. We're starting to see riders now, of course, going into that course walk, so they'll be taking a look around the lines that they have to select from, and exactly what their approach is going to be. Of course, we heard from Bosti earlier on that it's quite an interesting type of class. No combinations was the word I was after, so none of those. It's just single fences, so it means that they really can race at them. But having taken a look at the course plan, then a couple of places to pull out for you as they go from 2 to 3. Of course, on the design it looks like quite an outside turn there, but there are quite a few places where they can cut inside. Fence 3 is also the wall, so it can be quite delicate, but that certainly could be a place to really keep an eye on. Then immediately after that, it's also a kind of long rollback to fence 4, and again, potential to turn inside, certainly inside fence number 1. They could decide to keep the pace up and keep going, or try and keep the time as tight as possible and go inside. And then similarly, round from fence 5 to fence 6, potential for a bit of an inside cut there as well, but it is twisting and turning. And once again, from 8 to 9, that is just an immediate rollback from one fence to another, and they're sure to go as tight as they dare there. Then it's a big gallop, of course, to the final fence, either fence 10 or they go for the joker, and of course that gets them double points. So those are a few places that I would pull out to keep an eye on. We could really see some really difficult lines in there, and the riders really trying to cut inside. 32 of them coming forward and 62,000 euros on the line, so I think it could be fast and furious tonight.
Well, we hope so. We're very excited for that. Thanks, Hannah. Hannah, of course, will be keeping us up to speed throughout the class as well. She'll be catching up with some riders, just trying to get a feel for how they've gone, which would be great. Immediate feedback onto how this is riding and what it's looking like. It will be really, really handy to have. Let's then, Charlotte, dig a bit deeper again. Let's get into more analysis now. Let's take a look at the ones on form. Important to note, as we head into this class, the focus here, of course, is on recent performance at 5-star 150. Show jumping, the top level is 5-star 1. And, you know, that's important to note because, as we said, this class is a slightly unique format tonight.
Yes, exactly. There at the top we see Georg Gulliksen, VDL Group Quattro. And I hear you, it's a small sample size, 2 clears from 3 rounds, but they're at the top there because even at that slightly lower level, that 5-star 145 level, they've been so incredibly consistent over the past couple of weeks. They've already jumped a clear here in Paris this week. They were clear in Helsinki, Gothenburg. They've done all the World Cup shows, tours in the field, and he's still going, and he's so happy to be doing it and to be out there. And Georg Gulliksen, who I think a lot of people will know as Jimmy. He's always such a fun rider to watch, and he really always gives it a go. So I do think that he deserves to be up there as the one on form, and I think he's going to give it for them both to have fun in. And I think, you know, because I definitely am, because they have been so strong.
Let's get behind Jimmy. And this, as a girl who likes to play horse breeding bingo on long car trips, I know that secret about you. There's so much breeding bingo in this sport. There's so much. Jimmy has a fleet of children who ride and compete at the highest level, including his daughter who's here this week. Talk about the Whitakers who've bred the son and bred the horse, also competing this week. We had another one with the horse earlier we spoke about, bred by dad, ridden by the son. Yep. So lots of that to keep an eye out for. It's a little bit like Dynasty. Keep an eye on that one. We're going to talk a bit more about that later. But Casa Lady Love and Renee, interesting also there in this rating.
Yeah, they have a very strong, they came to Paris with very strong form, 7 clears from 11. Very strong, tougher courses than the ones that VDL Quattro was jumping. And I looked at their round, they jumped here yesterday, and Casa Lady Love seemed a little bit unsettled with the atmosphere that is so apparent in this arena in Paris. She was a little bit unsettled. It didn't go their way. So hopefully today they can come into the arena again and, you know, settle in a little bit more, have a little bit of a nicer, easier round and a little bit more relaxed, because she seemed a little bit stressed yesterday, but a very interesting horse. You know, this is very strong form to come into at 4 and 5-star 150 plus. So definitely a horse to keep an eye on, but I think the focus for today might be, let's try and keep it light and easy and relaxed and fun.
Yeah, to get used to all of those different atmospheres, because that's about what it is too, bringing these horses to these shows, about their education and learning experience. And the breeding and the dynasty. Argentina, Greg Wathelet, obviously this horse we talked about earlier, bred by dad, and right up there in terms of our rankings.
Yes, so we predict that they have the highest chance of jumping clear. They also show that on their form. They were out actually in California for a lot of last winter where they were competing and also very successful at this particular 150 level, winning a couple classes, podiums. Yeah, definitely ones to watch.
Yeah, for sure. And someone else who I note is on that list as well, Charlotte, is a man who has appeared in our promo for the show this afternoon, and that is Robert Whittaker. I spoke about him earlier in that his dad, John, bred this horse, and he is riding the horse. So John jokes about, I bred the horse and I bred the boy who rides it. And Rob said that he was pretty sure his Equeratings clear rate was 38%. Well, Rob, we can actually honestly tell you tonight it is 43%. So don't sell yourself short, my man. Very humble, this Yorkshire lad, you see. He's just a very humble man.
Yeah, absolutely. No, and they're also a very interesting combination. I would expect actually Romento to jump the Grand Prix also tomorrow, so I don't know how much they will go for the win today, but they're always a very interesting combination. Each other so well, bred by the dad, son bred by the dad. It's all just so exciting.
It all just correlates together in a hazy mess. Let's talk about our favourite then, because again, we've already spoken about him in great length. It's Gregory Waterley, definitely goes in favourite when we look at the numbers here according to Equeratings and Argentina. And again, you've spoken about how...
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the interesting part about having Gregory Waterley in this class, in the draw, they will be second to go. So immediately we will see if that comes to fruition. But what could be very interesting is if they put a lot of pressure on some of the other 30 riders that come after them, because we know how fast they can go. We know that they're capable of jumping it clear. We know that they can go fast. So this could really set the tone for the entire class with them being second to go.
Yeah, absolutely a combination to keep an eye on. We can see in pictures that the riders are out and walking, having a really good look. There's a lot of looks of consternation, so we'll be incredibly pleased to see what that course is going to bring up. Let's take a look then, let's break it down. We'll pit the two against each other, the one who is our favourite versus the one on form. Let's have a look at them as they go head to head, Charlotte.
Yes, so I think there's Quattro, obviously with being 20 years old, has jumped a lot of 4 and 5-star 150 plus courses, 126 to be exact, at a clear rate of 29%. They have won a class together, 5 podiums as well. But then we see Argentina, who has significantly less experience at this level, but maintains a higher clear rate of 55% with 17 clears from 31 rounds. And we mentioned earlier those 9 wins at this level, which is what they're really going to be looking for this evening. 12 podiums additionally as well. You know, just missed the podium yesterday with having that one going for their 10th win at this level. It would be a great evening to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. It certainly would. I mean, you're torn, aren't you? Because the story of that 20-year-old horse and that man, he is, like you say, he is epic to watch. He is one of the last great entertainers in the sport of show jumping. May we see many more. And we just love to watch him out there with this 20. I mean, it's incredible. It is iconic, and it is absolutely the stuff of fairy tales. So we would love to see them take a victory, and wouldn't it be wonderful? Well, we're heading down towards the pointy end now, Charlotte, and this is where we come to the tough talking. We're going to talk about the win chances, and we're going to talk about where our money is going to be placed tonight. Let's take a look then at where the percentages fall when it comes to predicting the wins according to Equeratings. And there is that man right at the top of things. That is Gregory Waterley once again.
Yes, we have put them forward as a favourite. They're the ones they're on form. They're the favourite. They have the highest chance of jumping clear, and a 1 in 5 chance of taking the win this evening. And we're going to know that very quickly. Like I said, second to go, we're going to know very quickly whether this could potentially happen. But I think very interesting also as a second favourite there, the man we spoke to earlier, Roger-Yves Bost, and that horse that won this class last year, Giorgio de la Bascia. It's interesting that he said in his interview that, yeah, he turns very good to the right. The left turns are a little bit difficult. I hope for Bosti that there's a lot of right turns in this class that he can use to his advantage. I know that the home crowd are going to absolutely love that. a man we also heard from earlier, Marcus Enning and Flower Girl. Obviously, Marcus coming back from that injury, but it's okay because the wife of his brother, who would that be? Is
the
that
wife
your
of his brother? That's his sister-in-law.
Sister-in-law,
Yeah.
there we go. His sister-in-law has been keeping Flower Girl taking over. They finished third in a two-star Grand Prix in Riesenbeck just a couple of weeks ago, and now coming in as third favorite, 8% chance of winning. He said, my horses are in form. I don't know about me, but I have full trust in our guy, Marcus. Daniel Deusser we mentioned as well. And Rob is up there amongst one of the favorites. It just depends, you know, what his view on this class is, how he's going to tackle this. Is his of combinations in this class that are just going out there for a little bit more exposure under this atmosphere and all these people cheering to get that ahead of tomorrow for the Grand Prix, where there will be probably even more atmosphere.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of a run round, a little bit of a look at things for sure. And like you say, the depth of the field is really there. There's so many great stories. There always is. That's what we like to bring you here in the In and Out studio. These amazing stories. The 20-year-old horse and Jimmy Gullickson, Roger East Boss, twice a winner here. So wouldn't it be fantastic to see any of those come to fruition? Where's your money then, Charlotte?
I love Greg Watley, but for the sake of the story, for the sake of this particular class, wouldn't it be great if Bossy can...
That's where I'm going to go to. I think that's where the heart is leading me, even though the Jimmy Gullickson story is so great. We love this horse. We love to see this combination running round. So I think Bossy just tips it for me, and that's where I will be looking tonight, and all eyes will be on that wonderful arena that we're going to take you to shortly. It's almost time then to go. We're going to head down towards the sport. If you're watching us on YouTube, it's your time to turn over now. Head over to the Clip My Horse 24/7 channel, where you can continue to watch us here in the studio along with all of tonight's sport, as well as all of our premium members who can enjoy it there on their subscription. So plenty to watch. You won't miss a frame. We'll have Hannah down by the arena catching up with the riders, and we'll of course catch up with you after the sport concludes and we have a winner. For now, we're going to hand over to our commentator.
Experience equestrian sport in a whole new way. Enjoy exclusive access to live streams and our extensive archive. See more, discover more with Clip My Horse TV Premium.
Well, a big thank you to the team in the studio, to Amy. It is, of course, fabulous to pick up all the insights of what is coming your way tonight here at Saut Hermès, under the amazing architecture of this building that opened on the 1st of May, 1900. Grand Palais. They certainly served up here, of course, just between the Champs-Élysées and the banks of the River Seine. It is one of the most spectacular indoor venues in world sport, never mind equestrian sport. It is time to get things underway. Well, it started here back in 2010 and has become a feature of the calendar. And of course, it is always one where